All right, so some of you guys remember a series I was doing a little bit ago where I was trying to remember and record my dreams in hopes to become a lucid dreamer. And that was kind of a bit of a failed series because I just never would remember my dreams. But last night, I actually had two nightmares. I mean, the first one, I wouldn't say was necessarily a nightmare towards me. Actually, now that I think of it, there are three instances that I can remember in my head that I kind of ran through. The first and second aren't really nightmares so much, but the first one is kind of a little bit triggering. So, in the first one, there's this woman that I remember. I knew her in real life a long time ago. And in this dream, she was in charge of taking care of two children. And I was talking to her, I was kind of catching up with her. And she was talking about how she really didn't like her job and how she was planning on quitting and it just wasn't treating her well. And eventually the conversation was over and I left the room. And then I heard a cry from the distance. And somehow in myself, I knew it was from her. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think this dream was involving SA. I think it was just involving abuse. But in the dream, I walked back to the room and I looked at her and I said, "You better not have just touched that kid." And she was acting all cocky, like as if, like, well, what's it, what even matters, like, what are you going to do about it? And I grabbed her by the throat and I gouged her eyes out and dug into her brain and killed her. That dream just ended right there. And I was kind of still asleep, and then I went into the next dream, which was there were these two guys. Now that I think of it, and I didn't remember this before, but it kind of leads into the third dream. They were from a church, and for some reason, they were trying to get into my car. I wasn't in the car, I had left the car. Now, this time, I walked up to them and I confronted them and I questioned them. And I asked them, "Did you guys do anything to my car?" In this stream, I think it carried some of the attributes from my previous stream. I think I had either somewhat of a reputation or just a presence around me that I was a violent person in this stream. And instantly they started sort of pleading for their lives. And I let them know that I wasn't planning on hurting them. And they revealed that they had done something, taken some piece out of my car that made it so that I couldn't drive very fast in it. And I was angry, but that dream just sort of, I guess either it ended or I just don't remember the rest of it. But the third dream was really interesting and really scary. Now, for some background, when I was a kid, I used to be haunted by nightmares a lot. I mean, there were nights where I literally would be afraid to go to sleep because I would have nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And I truly believe because the holy jump scare, that was my alarm to wake up. But I truly believe that I was actually haunted by demons because those nightmares ended when I finally turned to Christ. And part of me thinks that I've been sort of drifting away from Christ recently. Not in the sense that I've been rejecting him, but I just haven't been as close with him. I haven't been reading his word as much. I've been wanting to. Honestly, I think for the streams, I'll probably start doing like some sort of Bible studies on Sunday or something like that. I've been thinking about it for a bit. But I think part of this reason part of the reason that I got this nightmare, I think, was either because thought that I would be able to handle it, or because he wanted to allow me, sort of deliver me into the hands of the devil to bring me closer to him. But essentially what happened was I was on my TikTok account and I was going to make a post. Sorry for the way I sound, guys. I'm really sick. But I saw this box and it told me that if I wanted to go viral quickly, all I would have to do is make a post about an SCP or a monster that I think some of you guys know about called the Boiled One. And to me, it was just like a little joking thing. It wasn't serious to me. I was just I clicked the box, I made the post, and I thought it was just going to be a little funny thing. But when I made the post and I opened it up to see what it was, I saw that my comments were turned off. I instantly had 60 likes just out of nowhere. But I've scrolled through my other videos because it kind of started to creep me out a little bit. And they were all different. All of the faces, well, my face, I guess, was uncanny. They looked a lot like the AI faces from what that one weird dude used to post. I sort of forget his name. Oh, it was Smart Schoolboy, if any of you guys were ever down that rabbit hole. And continually, this was really freaking me out, and I was sensing a presence by this point. And I went to my DMs, and I was trying to text a few people. First, I tried to text Shav. For some reason, he was in a live. I don't know why. This was part of my dream, but he was in a live stream, so I didn't text him. And then I texted Brecco, and I was like, hey, can we please talk about Jesus? And he was like, well, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, literally, can we just talk about Jesus? And I continually was feeling the presence growing, and you guys can't really see it. In that room over there, sorry, my phone alarm went off there too for a second. I'm not sure if you guys heard that. I felt the presence growing in there. And I started thinking to myself, Christ is Lord. I was thinking it in my head. And I just kept chanting it, Christ is Lord, and it was working. And I just kept going, Christ is Lord, Christ is Lord, just repeating it over and over. And eventually I started speaking in Latin. I started saying Ave Christus Rex. And I started to feel more powerful. I started to feel less scared. And honestly, that was the rest of the night for me. I was in my bed just sort of chanting in my head, Ave Christus Rex. So I'm not really sharing this to be a teaching sort of thing or anything like that, or to go viral. It's kind of for multiple reasons. A, because I've resolved to record all the dreams that I have for myself so that I can remember them and become a lucid dreamer. B, to share that Christ has helped me in the past in my life and still does. And there should be a C, but I can't think of a C. So I guess those are my reasons.